Greetings, class. I wanted to take just a little bit of your time to discuss assignment number one. The purpose of this assignment is to expand your knowledge in the context of healthcare and the factors that or that rather influence the experience of health in different populations. Our focus will be on the social determinants of health. Now, this assignment is foundational to help you achieve several of the student learning outcomes for this course. Assignment number two will build off of assignment number one. So I do need you to take some time to review the background for this assignment as well as the student learning outcomes. But one of the very first things that you will want to do for this assignment is to identify a diverse population within your practice or area of interest. You will want to be very deliberate in identifying an individual who is different from you in more than one way. So perhaps this individual is different from you in educational level, socioeconomic status, or any one of a number of different ways. You will want to take time to interview this individual, and will want to explore the literature surrounding the issues involving the social determinants of health experienced by this population. You will want to include a minimum of 3 scholarly resources published within the last 5 to 7 years. I want you to be very careful in selecting someone who is unlike you in more than one way. In this way, you will be able to capture rich interview data, you will dive deeper into the literature, and you will more fully accomplish the student learning objectives for this course. For this assignment, I will ask that you reflect on the culturally and linguistically appropriate services or guidelines in the context of the interviewee, or rather in the context of the interview. These guidelines are posted in Brightspace. For this assignment, you will want to devise a minimum of 4 questions with the purpose to gain insight from the interviewee, to learn about the diverse population, specifically the social determinants of health, so any social justice issues. So your questions will need to be carefully crafted because we want to avoid leading, we want to avoid any inflection of bias and discriminations. The development of these questions that you will ask during the interview will be more clear after completion of Module 1 and Module 2. And indeed, there are questionnaires that are available to us to guide us in the development, or rather uh, our quest to uncover how the social determinants of health impact a specific population. But when we discuss or when we talk about social determinants of health, and we'll do this online across modules 1 and module 2, you might find where some of your questions that you ask during the interview may be relative to transportation, may be relative to employment, may be relative to family and community supports, may be relative to physical activity. There are any one of a number of different avenues that can be looked at with the social determinants of health. But again, we're going to talk about these questions online and how we can attempt to really get to know how a diverse population is different from ourselves and how they are impacted by the social determinants of health. You will explore the literature to identify those concerns that are experienced by the diverse population. And you will take a look at those concerns and see if they coincide what is experienced or what is being experienced by your interviewee. Remember that we can only push health equity forward by addressing the social determinants of health. So, again, and I cannot emphasize this enough, the purpose of this assignment is for you to get to the root of the social determinants of health that may be impacting the diverse population's health, their quality of life. Recommend that as you think about the interview, that you arrange for the interview to take place at a community-based service where the individual perhaps is receiving services. You may also conduct the interview in the individual's home if it is a place in which you're comfortable. Perhaps you might conduct the interview at a church. Now, it is possible that if you're not able to meet face to face, that the online platform may be used. So you may be utilizing Zoom for the interview. It will be important for you to obtain permission from the interviewee. So you will want to disclose the purpose of this assignment to them. The permission to conduct the interviewee should be documented within your paper. Again, I mentioned to you early the purpose of this assignment is to compare and contrast the lived experiences of the interviewee with the findings from the literature research relative to the social determinants of health. So you are most certainly going to want to reflect on the information uncovered within your literature review or your search on the social determinants of health relative to this population, because you will want to focus your questions around those issues identified in the literature. Your paper should be completed using APA format with the headings that are identified in the rubric. So please do take some time to review the assignment guidelines as well as the rubrics. Most typically, you will find that this paper will be around 4 to 5 pages. We may see 6, and on occasion we may see 7. To some extent, it agrees on the depth of data collected from your interviewee. So those questions that are asked and how open and willing your interviewee are to answer those questions, that will impact the assignment per se, and how much detail you have and how much detail you have to explore across the literature. But I think more often than not, what I see on average is about 4 pages. I would recommend that when you look at the rubric, that you put a check next to each component on the rubric as it is addressed. So this will help ensure that you are addressing all requirements for the paper. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have questions or concerns. And I really do believe that after the first and the second module, that this assignment will be more clear. Again, as we talk about the social determinants of health, as we talk about how those influence the lives of individuals, diverse populations, and more. But please do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions. Thank you.